雨の日の運転って心配ですよね。いざという時によりちゃんと止まれるタイヤといえば横浜タイヤでしょ。
視界が悪くて止まりづらい雨の運転も横浜タイヤならもっと安心。
タイヤは雨で選ぼう。横浜タイヤ。
追い求めれば求めるほど遠ざかる時もある。でも理想に追いつけるのは自分だけだ。池江璃花子は横浜ゴムと世界に挑戦する。限界はない。行くぞ横浜。
MID ホイール Are you ready everybody? MID ホイールダンディムーディ MID ホイールキャンディーフレンディ MID ホイールホイールは MID
Ultimate lubricant. Mortis.
What's up guys, it's Frederick Ospo and I use RSR suspension on all my drift cars. I love RSR. Iyo RSR Ichiban.
Made in Japan. Breed.
ビーコロこの車大切に乗ってもらってるね。
ビーコロはあなたの愛車を思い出ごと査定します。
ドライブデート家族ができて海や山へ
その車の話
聞かせてね。思い出ポイント発見。しっかり評価するよ。その思い出も買い取ります。
ビーコロ。
and I'll be with you the whole series. Josh. So if you guys have any questions or any concerns, just let me know. We've had fans out this morning for the last few hours just waiting in line to get in. The course here at Fuji maintained excellently. I think they're probably going to go out and repaint the zones right before we start, and before that happens, we're going to do the animation. We have our MC, Aichi Akutsu, and our commentators, Yoichi Imamura, and Judge Taniguchi, Fukada, and Yamanaka. So, Josh.
やあみんな、フォーミュラドリフトジャパンのルール判定システムについて説明するよ。まずは優勝までの道のり。大会は予選と決勝に分かれます。予選は単独走行方式。単独で2度走行し、高い方のポイントで上位32位までの決勝進出を争います。決勝は2台によるタンデムバトル方式。先行と後攻を入れ替えての2度の走行による勝ち抜き戦です。これらのコンペティションを決めるのは3名のジャッジ。それぞれライン、アングル、スタイルという視点で判定をします。持ち点はライン35ポイント、アングル35ポイント、スタイル30ポイントの合計100ポイントです。ラインとは規定された各ゾーンをより近く、より理想的なラインで通過できているかを判定します。リアタイヤの設置部分がゾーンの外側のラインをなぞることが高得点のコツ。4本のタイヤのうち3本がラインの外側に出てしまったらポイントは0点になります。各大会によってそれぞれのゾーンに規定ポイントが振り分けられています。アングルとはコースに設定されたゾーンのラインに対してどれだけ深い角度でスムーズに通過しているかを採点します。ラインに対してより垂直なアングルをキープすることが高得点のコツ。各大会によってそれぞれのゾーンに規定ポイントが振り分けられています。スタイルとはドリフトの美しさ、スピード、迫力、ファッションなどドライバー自身が思い描いた走りを確実にコントロールし、ジャッジをうならせることができているかが採点されます。決勝へは先ほど説明した通りポイント上位32台が進出します。決勝は勝ち負けの判定による勝ち抜きトーナメント方式です。追走で行われ先行後攻を入れ替えた2度の走行をもって各ジャッジが勝者の判定もしくはドローの判定をします。3人中2人以上が出した判定で勝者および再走が決定します。追走を有利にするポイントは先行では単独走行と同じくよりポイント基準に沿った良い走りをすることが前提です。 それが遂行できていなければジャッジの印象に大きく影響します。後方車両は先行車両と同じラインで同じ角度を取りながらより接近して追随します。しかし先行車両に接近できていても同じライン同じ角度でなければスピードスタイル的に理想的な走りとは言えず勝利にはつながりません。それは先行車両が通ったラインをショートカットすれば接近しやすくなり、また角度が浅ければ速度を上げやすくなり接近しやすくなる、そして調整幅が大きくなるという理由からです。審査はジャッジ席で行っているのでそこから見た判断になります。そのためにジャッジ席の真横に各チーム1人が入れるスポッター席という場所を設けており、ジャッジの見え方をドライバー、チームスタッフと共有できるようになっています。観客席などジャッジ席以外の場所で見ていた場合、審査結果と全く違うように見えることがあります。ライブ放送で見ていた場合も同じように感じる場合がありますが、それはこの競技がジャッジ席からどのように見えているかで審査されるためです。それぞれが見ている場所によりジャッジ席およびライブ放送のカメラ位置との角度の違い、高低差などで見え方が変わってしまうからです。あくまでもフォーミュラドリフトの審査はジャッジ席からの見え方でジャッジが判断するということになります。それらをご理解の上、フォーミュラドリフトジャパンをお楽しみください。以上がルール概要でした。さあ、フォーミュラドリフトジャパンの楽しみ方が分かったところで Here we go!
Okay, welcome back, guys. Yeah, I saw the question earlier about how much horsepower you're looking in the FDJ2 series. Some of the cars as little as 350, and some approaching 1,000, if not over. There is a huge range in the J2 series. But one thing that is sort of an equalizer is the fact that all have to run the same spec tires and the same wheels. And those are the Yokohama Advans 8009s, and the wheels are MID wheels. So just doing a quick course inspection, and then we'll be on our way. Yeah, we have especially in J2, we have a lot of new faces this year. A lot of guys still returned, but there are a ton of new faces. And some of the old faces will be in brand new cars. And yes, this is the spec wheel I was talking about, the Advan Neova 8009. And every single one of the drivers has to run this tire. Yeah, and if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Oh, hey, what's up, Langston? And yeah, MID wheels. That's a spec wheel that all the cars have to run as well. There's a few different styles. I think there's like 6 different styles that they have to choose from. But ultimately, they have to run these specific wheels with the Yokohama Advan specific tires. Is that better? And a quick overview. Out zone 1 is worth 10 points. That's both 10 points for line and 10 points for angle. Out zone 2, 10 points. The inner clip, 10 points, and the outer zone 3 is 5 points. In this track, the zebra or the rumble strips are out. So if you drop one tire, you lose anywhere from 2 to 3 points per tire. And dropping 2 is 4 to 6. But you can see during practice, they were just eating up the rumble strip. And it's a fine line between deciding to try and go shallow to miss the rumble strip, especially if you're on the line to hit deep, or take the points and still run with it. Yeah, Langston, he PCS to Okinawa. So he's down there enjoying the sun. Well, so there's another person, Luis. I believe he'll be joining me for the next day, or so I guess tomorrow. So J1, but I have no idea. I'm just playing it by ear, out here having fun. Oh yeah, dude, Thunder Ramen's awesome. Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't know that I've had a bad ramen in Japan at all. Yeah, so up at Fuji, there's going to be so many different activities as well. Autograph series, the run bike championship series. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it's kids on these no pedal bikes. Dude, it's crazy. Like, you would think because they're little kids, it's not really a no, it is a serious competition, these kids. And they're going to be having additional events at Fuji. They have drift carts, a Concept Fuji Speedway car show, a car carry truck meet. Dude, like some of these trucks that they use to carry cars, they are so spec'd out. It's awesome. I love when they have the K car races. Oh, those are called Strider bikes. And it looks like they're just now finishing up the last zone. And the sweeper truck is making its way off course. So how you guys been? Anything new going on with you guys? It's been what, 8 months almost? So which drivers are you guys looking forward to seeing the most? I know there's quite a few names on here that I am looking to see. So Ricky is up from J3. We had a couple people go from J2 to J1, so we'll be seeing them tomorrow. Yeah, Valentina's going to be pretty early on the list. I think she's the fourth driver, so we'll see her pretty fast. Dude, she was she was out rocking earlier today, putting down some really clean runs, so I'm looking forward to that. I feel like Rahman's been getting steadily better each time he's been on the course. So I'm also looking to see him putting down some really good, consistent runs. The Hachiroku's super fun to drift, but you got to take speed into them corners if you want to keep going. I believe the actual start time is like in 4 minutes. So it gives you a little bit of time to go grab a drink, use the bathroom, do what you need to do. We have some Tiger fans out here. Yeah, Rey Mysterio. It looks like the sweeper truck just made its way outside the fence. So they should be pulling up to the line shortly, or I guess the burnout box. We have still just a couple more minutes. Oh, it's tricky for the vehicle weight, because there's so many different vehicles, especially in the J2 class, that there are huge weight differences. It's just very similar to the power, right? We have anywhere from 350 to over 1,000. So I mean, with the weight too, there's some cars that out here weighing a ton. I mean, we have a JZXS 151 Crown, super heavy. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I just got some news. It looks like our first two competitors had to cancel their first run, which is normally that means there's a couple issues that they're running into that they believe they can have fixed by the second run. And that's Fanpei and Luis Teixeira. Both Team JZ Racing with Revolution with Fan, and Luis is Italic Racing with Mikey Racing. I saw them working on Luis's car earlier today, so I think maybe minor issues, I hope. And they should be out for the second run after everybody finishes their first. Oh, no, so today will just be the qualifying runs. After the qualifying runs, unfortunately you guys don't get to watch this, but will be the J1 practice runs. And you can see Fuji-ish in the background. It is cloudy today. It's supposed to clear up over the next couple of days, so it should be really, really fun. Yeah, that's probably the first time that I've seen it where the 1-2 both had their first runs canceled. Oh, so FDJ qualifying will be tomorrow. Just J2 qualifying today. Yeah, it is beautiful. Ooh, okay, so temperature, I think it's like maybe low 70s, upper 60s. Fahrenheit, Celsius, it's maybe 16, give or take. It feels much better when the sun's out. Okay, we just got word of another cancellation for their first run, and that's Kazuya Ozeki with Good Vibes Factory and Murata Motors. Yeah, so hopefully Luis can get his sorted, and he'll be able to join us for the second run. We're about to start with Yokohama Presents FDJ2 Round 1 Fuji International Speedway qualifying. Oh, temp can affect both engine performance as well as tire performance. With the track not being hot or in some cases too cold. And up first we have car number 798, Hideki Nono, with Carland Kumamoto in his S15 Sylvia. Yeah, perfect timing. And Hideki's off. Coming into outer zone 1. Nice and deep through 1. Good switch back. Nice through 2. A little shallow through inner clip. And had a couple issues trying to get out to outer zone 3. Overall, to a pretty good start. That line right there, during qualifying, they're supposed to stay outside of that line through initiation the whole time. Nice and deep through zone 1. Left zone 2 a little soon. Could have had a little bit more angle through the inner clip, and that would have pushed them out to outer zone 3 a little bit better. Yeah, this track is very quick. Okay, the judges are dialing in their scores right now. Should pop up on the screen shortly. Oh, you guys can't hear the cars? And a 68 for Nuno on his run one. Puts him in first place right now. And up next is car number 200, Takahashi Futagawa with R&T Factory in his GZ 200 Soar. I'm not carrying very much angle through the zones. And it looked like maybe dropped a tire in zone 2. Yeah, normally the qualifying order is decided by the previous year's standings. With the first runners, super deep through zone 1 and a little shallow through zone 2. So the higher the order, so like the first few drivers either placed low or did not compete last year in FDJ2. Now I will say that these cars, the first couple of cars are pretty quiet. But that's about to be kicked up very shortly. And a 59 for Futagawa. Up next, we have car number 60, Keito Butsusaka with MGR and Makeup Garage B2 in his S13 Sylvia with a Boss kit. I love that kit. I've only ever seen it on the S14 though. Coming around, kicking it out. A little shallow and a little, oh. So coming out of zone 2, he straightened, or in this case, counter drifted, which means his car was going in the opposite angle to what a drift should do. So unfortunately, he's going to get a 0. Yeah, after zone 1. Yeah, it just over-rotated a bit through zone 2, and that caused a counter going into the inner clip, which unfortunately that's a 0 for him. Yeah, we'll see Jake Jones tomorrow. Yeah, there's, again, J2, so many different cars. Up next, we have car number 418, Takumi Yuki with Magician and Crystal Japan in his JZX 110 Mark II. Good transition. Swing it out nice, a little too deep. But overall, very clean line, right on the edge. Zone 2, good inner clip. And just hitting the rev limiter for zone 3. So the judges wanted to make sure that they were drifting through the finish line. And I feel like everybody is taking that, and they're drifting way past the finish line. Yeah, drop 2 tires in zone 1. Right on the edge, zone 2. Nice inner clip. And then swinging out right towards the edge of zone 3. Overall, very, very good run. Yeah, just right on the limiter. Could have been a little bit deeper through the inner clip, but overall, very, very good run. And that's a 69 for Takamiya. Up next, we have car number 840, Yukitoshi Tamura with Magician, 840 Racing, Crystal Japan in his 180 SX. Bringing it out nice and deep through zone 1. Unfortunately, lift really soon. Nice through the inner clip and hit zone 3, really nice. So one thing the judges are talking about is they're talking about possibly a little bit of understeer right there, but it looks like it was still before the 3-2-1 initiation start. So the judges are tallying up the score for Tamura. Yeah, dude, the blue wheels, I really like those. I was talking with them earlier today. Yeah, he doesn't have a ton of horsepower. Like I said, we have anywhere from 300 to 1,000, and that'd be a 58 for Tamura. Up next, we have car number 45, Valentina Piez with Fat 5 Racing and Pop Race in her Supra Mark 5. That's an A90. I feel a good start. Kicking out, throwing on a lot of. So 3 tires off, unfortunately. So Valentina had a 5-minute issue check. So she went back and had to work on something right quick. And so that's why she's starting now instead of her previous place. And just coming in a little too hot. Dropping 3 tires, and unfortunately that's going to be a 0 for her. And Fuji, Sugo, in Okayama, the rumble strips are considered out. So if you have the 3rd tire and it touches the rumble strip, unfortunately that's a 0 for you as well. But she still has a 2nd run. She'll be able to knock that out when we come back to the top. Up next, we have car number 707, Yusei Ijima, with Shake Off in his JZX90 Mark II. Nice and deep through zone 1. Great switch. Unfortunately, not too deep through zone 2. But overall, trying to make the run work. And then we'll see how the judges liked it. Yes, Valentina is Brazilian. Overall, really nice run up. Zone 1, very good. Transitioned a little soon going into zone 2, and that caused him to come out a little sooner. But overall, I'm running the books. And we'll see what the judges say. And a 71 for Ijima, which puts him in the early lead. Up next, we have car number 831, Eita Uehara with Team Props in his S15 Sylvia. Great kick out. Nice and deep through zone 1. Good transition. Way to stay in the zone for zone 2. Doing a lot of angle for zone 3. Overall, very respectable run. Yeah, super clean S15. I love the colors. The purple on black. You like his vent? Nice and deep through 1. Good switch back. Could have been a little deeper in 2, but overall, very clean. And nice and deep through 3. Oh yeah, tons of pink and purple. And we'll see even more pink and purple tomorrow in J1. Judges' scores are in. Just waiting for the system to come back, and it's a 90 for Uehara. Very consistent, 30s on line, angle, and style. Up next, we have car number 86, Kei Maeda with Team Zegras with Racing Service Watanabe in his used auto parts, Tarokoro Hachiroku. On throttle quick, swinging out nice, deep through zone 1, zone 2 very nice, hitting the clip really nice. Just drop 1 tire going into zone 3, but if you're going to drop a tire, zone 3 is where you drop it. I love the little feint, the power over. Yeah, just really nice and deep through zone 1. Transitioned a little early, but overall, very good clean zone 2 and dropped 1 tire off of 3. Oh, so the reason we're doing J2 qualification today is because it's a J1, J2 weekend. So we got J2 qualification today. Tomorrow we have J1 qualifying and J2 top 16 to a final. And then Sunday we have top 32 to a final for J1. Oh, thanks, Shobi. And that's an 83 for Kei Maeda. And that puts him into second place. Up next is car number 151. Shoei Takayama with 999 Racing. Yutan Auto with Junkas Panda in his JZS 151 Crown. A little bit of a wobble. A little deep through zone 1. Very nice transition. Nice through zone 2. Nice inner clip and making his way out to zone 3. So we're talking about heavy cars, so this is one of the heavy ones. Yeah, put together a really nice run. Looks like I had a little bit of issues in getting initiation start there and a little wobble before getting into zone 1. But overall, really nice. He worked out a lot of kinks earlier this weekend. Yeah, that boat was moving. Yeah, a lot of these drivers are very young, like middle school or even high school. I haven't seen anyone elementary yet, but it's only a matter of time. And that's a 79 for Tokuyama. And up next is car number 270, Minato Mogi with 27 works in his S15 Sylvia. And Mogi already starting with this smoke show. He just beautiful transitions, a little deep, but just full on throttle. Yeah, it's a beautiful car with a great setup. And Mogi just out there giving it as much gas as it can take. Nice and deep through zone 1. A little late on transition to 2. Gets through the inner clip nice. And right on the edge of 3. The drone footage is so great. But I feel like the drone footage, you can really see the inner clip a lot more than you can from up here at the normal. And that's 87 points for Mogi. Up next, we have car number 1, Riki Nakamura with Inside with Velino in his S15 Sylvia. On the gas through the initiation. Swinging out nice and deep through zone 1. Coming through zone 2. Inner clip nice. And right at the edge of zone 3. Yeah, Ricky putting down a good, solid, clean run. Nice and deep through first. could have had a little bit more angle going into zone 3. Nice through the inner clip. Yeah, so he had a little bit of space. He could have dialed in a bit more angle towards zone 3. But overall, very good run. Super fast. And that's an 85 for Riki. Puts him into 3rd place. Up next, we have car number 106, Tomosuke Sano with White Star and Garidori Kite, by Now Japan, in his JZX100 Chaser. Out with some good speed. Cranking up the angle into zone 1. Switching back to 2. Left zone 2 a little early. So it's going to depend whether they're going to call counter drift into the inner clip or just a major correction. A little deep through 1. Yeah, see, so leaving 2 a little early causes you to need that correction going into the inner clip. Yeah, Fausto's in J1. And that'd be a 74 for Sano. And up next with our second half of the sheet, will be car number 55, Yuma Okada with Kaitaku Racing in his S15 Sylvia. Coming out, nice smooth transition. A little deep through 1. A little early through 2. And a little deep through 3. But yeah, had the tire smoking the whole time. Yeah, you can definitely see the difference in power levels between some of the first competitors and pretty much the rest of the field from here on out. Yeah, because of his transition from zone 2 to the inner clip, it left him with a weird angle into zone 3. Yeah, and again, you guys can definitely see how it all changed together. You make a mistake in one zone, it leads to a mistake in the second zone, and the next thing you know, you're just trying to scrape together a run that gets you some points. And that's a 70 for Okada. Up next, we have car number 215, Takeru Takata with Garage Takata with Auto Shop Wise in his S15 Sylvia. Taking the wide approach, swinging out, and let's see how he lines up for zone 1. A little deep in zone 1 and 2. And unfortunately, I think maybe the zone 2 transition, him being as deep in there as he was, led to the half spin. Yeah. It's crazy how it can be as technical as it is to be as wide as it is. Yeah, there's a chance that there was 3 tires out in the first zone, but with the half spin, it makes it 100% clear. Just coming in a little too hot, trying to push it a little too hard, and unfortunately that's a 0 for Takata. Up next, we have car number 777, Russell Rahman with Buy Now Japan and RPM. It looks like his front fender's a little loose, so that's not going to stop him from throwing some smoke. A little deep through zone 2. Unfortunately, just came in a little too hard, throwing a little too much angle through the inner clip, and another half spin. Yeah, in FDJ, there's at least one European, a couple Australian, and a few Brazilian. They're all over the place in J1. Nice through too, but he just wasn't able to crank up as much angle as he needed to get into the inner clip. And then when he stepped on the gas, unfortunately, it caused a half spin. That's a 0 for Rahman's first run. Yeah, it was excellent through zone 1. Yes, we're going to do a course inspection, and then we should be on our way shortly. Well, I guess by course inspection, they're going to look it over and paint up the zones. So it should be pretty quick, and then we'll see some more action, okay? Yeah, sometimes all it is just one slight mistake and you're spun out. I mean, I don't know. That'd be pretty fun to watch. Formula Drift Brazil. Looks like they're finishing up the last zone right now. And they're just going to touch up the inner clip, and then we should be good to go. Yeah, I didn't get involved in drifting at all until I showed up to Japan. But that's been now 20 plus years ago. I mean, I think I've currently lived in Japan now longer than I've lived in the States. Yeah, that K-Truck hit all the zones, huh? Yeah, Luis, for his first run, he had to cancel it. They were working on the car, so he's going to come out for the second run as soon as we finish the second half of the field. Oh, dude, that's awesome. Put down a Guinness watching the drift. Dude, you can't beat that. Sammit's in J1, so that would be tomorrow. Yeah, thanks, Langston. I think last year we had someone cross to the inner side of the line during qualifying, but there was only one driver that did it, and they ended up getting a 0, unfortunately. Oh, favorite chassis and why? That's a tough question. Right now, I'm driving mainly JZXs. They just feel smooth, great transitions. I prefer my drifts and my transitions to be as smooth as possible. And, I mean, you can't beat how bulletproof the 1J is. So what about you guys? I mean, S chassis are really nice. I started with a 4-door R32, not S chassis, but then I moved up to an S14. And then I was settled in with the JZX 100. But up next, we have car number 95, Shuichi Shinoichi with Magician with Crystal Japan in his 180 SX. Going the super wide line. Throwing on some throttle, nice and deep through zone 1. Good transition. Make it through zone 2. Really deep into the inner clip and a little shallow through zone 3. Yeah, off. Nice and deep wide line. Nice through zone 1, a little shallow through zone 2. Really deep into the inner clip, but unfortunately wasn't able to get out to zone 3 as wide as we hoped. And that'll be a 73 for Shinoichi. And that puts him into 7th place right now. Up next is car number 92, Kenji Suzuki with Team NR, G-Meister, and Libist with his JZX 100 Chaser. Nice and deep through zone 1. Early transition through 2. And just riding the line for zone 3. You're picking up speed pretty fast. but looked like he didn't quite get out to fill zone 1 or 2. And looked like his angle was off going through the inner clip, so he dropped 1 tire into zone 3. Yeah, Fausto's going to be in J1. And that's 70 points for Kenji Suzuki. Up next is car number 103, Happy Kobayashi with Shizuoka with FFR and Be Cool Trade in his Hachiroku. Just right on the gas, nice and deep through zone 1. Unfortunately, a little too much angle into zone 2, which caused a straighten going into the inner clip. Oh yeah, tandem on this track, I love it. You have enough track to where you can get good proximity and maintain it the whole way. Yeah, that was a strong flick. Unfortunately, that's a 0 for Happy Kobayashi. Up next is car number 193, Kiminobu Deguchi with Garidori, Kai, B&J, and DZ Enterprise in his Pink Monster S15. Off with a ton of smoke. A little shallow through zones 1 and 2. And looks like you missed the inner clip and zone 3. Oh, Happy got a 0 because he straightened after zone 2 until he entered the inner clip. So you can get a 0 if you get 3 tires off, if you do a half spin, or you straighten. So there's a few different ways you can get a 0. Another way is on initiation. If you do a three part, or if you do they call it sanpatsu initiation, which is left, right, left, and then initiate, that can get you a 0 as well. No, you're not allowed to straighten. Yeah, no problem. And that's a 50 for Deguchi. And that's mainly because he missed essentially the inner clip and zone 3. Up next, we have car number 727, Tomoharu Nishizaki with Tanematsu Thunderbird with Kiyama Shrine in his S13 Sylvia. Already on the rev limiter, nice through zone 1. A little shallow through 2. Struggling to hit the inner clip and really deep for zone 3. I think that they'll be taking a look at the other angle to see if possibly 3 tires out. But so for J2, there is a ton of different horsepower ranges. This car is right around the 3 to 350 range. So it's definitely on the lower side. Just couldn't transition a little bit too soon to get out to the end of zone 2. A little later transition might have set him up better for the inner clip to zone 3. Yeah, see, missing the inner clip there. And which pushed him out through zone 3. And unfortunately, that's a 0 for Nishizaki. And up next is car number 830, Stuart Inoue with Stuart 830 Racing in his S15 Sylvia. And I love this color car. Stewart's on gas early. Nice to zone 1. Stumbled a bit in the transition from 1 to 2, which put him a bit offline for the inner clip and zone 3. I'm not sure if you guys, how many of you guys were watching this last year, but Stewart is super aggressive and is really fun to watch. And it looks like his back tires just caught up a little bit, and unfortunately, he'll have to come out and do better his second run. Oh, so you can see those 3 yellow cones. It's a 3, 2, 1. It's after the white line. Most people initiate ahead of the white line, or not ahead of the first initiation part. But yeah, you can wait a lot later for most of these cars. Well, welcome, Low-Tech. Hopefully you enjoy your first experience. Yeah, dude, I do love Stewart's livery. And unfortunately, that's a 53 for him, but that's a score in the books. Up next is car number 373, Minami, with MSG in his R32 Skyline. On throttle early. A little deep through zone 1. Dropping 1 tire in zone 2. But making his way nicely into zone 3. So essentially the zone priority should be zones 1, zone 2, and inner clip should be the highest priority since it's worth the most points. And zone 3 is, I consider that like a bonus zone because it's worth the least amount of the other 3. And unfortunately, it looks like Minami really hit zone 3 the most. Yeah, Echo will be here tomorrow. They're going to be qualifying for J1. Yeah, unfortunately, it was a little messy. Dropping tires in each one of these zones, and it looks like he didn't get very close to the inner clip, but it gives him something to work off of. And at least he's got run 2 left. That's a 62 for Minami. Up next is car number 48, Tomoyuki Kitashiwa in his OS Genkin GR Hachiroku. Seems like he's off to a slow start. Was it 3, 2, 1 right there? Out to zone 1, nice. A little shallow through 2. Inner clip to zone 3. No, Echo is running a different car this year than last year. Kitashima, again, he's playing the late start game with his transition closer to the 3-2-1 than most of the other drivers. And the judges are keying in their scores right now. And that is a 64 for Kitashima. Up next is car number 99, Kazuya Nagahiro, with Nagahiro Racing in his S14 Sylvia. Just bringing it around nicely. Just pouring on the gas. Nicely through zone 1, a little shallow through 2, and whew. Just a little bit of push in there. You can see those wheels turn hard left. Car just pushing straight. Nice there. Yeah, unfortunately, that's going to be a 0. But he's still got one more run to come out and knock down a winner. Next up, we have car number 34, Yuki Inooka, with Auto Garage Junction in his Junction S15. Moving around the 3-2-1, just laying on the gas, dropping one tire at 1, nicely through 2, inner clip. Wavered quite a bit between inner clip and zone 3. Yeah, so the judges will have to take a look after the inner clip. Overall, nice run up until that point. And so I think that he's going to end up, unfortunately, with a 0. And yes, that's a 0 for Inooka. Up next is car number 82, Shuhei Itoyama with Makeup Garage B2 in his 180 SX. A little faint. Oh. Good transition from zone 1 to zone 2. And nicely out to 3. But I think that right before zone 1, maybe a straighten. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like a straighten right before zone 1. Yeah, I really like just the nice solid yellow. Plus, it really makes the sponsors pop. And that's a 0 for Itoyama. Up next, we have car number 28, Yohei Yamaguchi with Dorioka, with Kane no Masuone with his A90 Supra. Just full drop. A little shallow through zone 1. Looks like he had quite a few issues. Yeah, coming out through zone 1. Looked really shallow. And it looks like possibly a straight in between zone 1 and zone 2. But let's see what the judges say. Yeah, so a lot of these drivers, it's their first times in these cars. Especially a lot of drivers either went to new chassis or rebuilt their old car with new power plants or all kinds of new stuff. Up next is car number 620, Hinato, and Viocola Liberty Walk Racing in his JZX100 Chaser. Coming out nice through initiation, throwing on a lot of acceleration, a little short through zone 1, nice through zone 2. Inner clip nice, and a good sweeping into zone 3. Could have been a little deeper through zone 1, but overall, really nice run for Hinato. Yeah, could have been a little bit deeper through zone 1. Good smooth transition in zone 2. Nice through inner clip. And swinging back out to zone 3. Could have probably dialed in a little bit more angle in zone 3 as well. But overall, a nice run, especially with another run left in the books. Judges keying in the scores, and that'll be a 75 for Hinato, putting him into 6th place. And just a reminder, J2 only has 16 going forward tomorrow. So you need to be in top 16 if you want to get into the Suiso or tandem. Up next, we have car number 63, Fuga Kimura with Team Trinity Racing in his E92 BMW. Getting on gas early, going down tons of angle, a little bit deep through zone 1, dropping 2 tires in 2. Shallow through the inner clip, but getting nice and deep through zone 2 or zone 3. Yeah, Hinato is very young. A little bit of wavering from Kimura early, but overall, he steadied it down quite a bit, but dropped a tire or 2 in each of the first 2 zones. But again, this is his first time in the E92. So still learning the chassis, but coming out strong. The youngest, I believe, is Dicky. The judges are keying in the scores now. And a 65 for Kimura. Up next is car number 109, Ryusuke Aoki with Garidori Kai, by now Japan, in his JZS 151 Crown. Going on a lot of throttle through zone 1, a little deep. Good transition into 2. Nice inner clip. And right on the line for zone 3. Yeah, this Crown, love it. Once he starts getting on throttle here, a little deep through zone 1, but overall, great transition to 2. Inner clip, really nice. And right on the edge for the entire zone 3. Judges are keyed in. And a 79 for Aoki. Up next is car number 23, Jace with Veokolo in his JZX 100 Mark II. Last year he was running a 350Z. Let's see how he likes this new chassis. A little on the shallower side for the entry line. Nice and deep through zone 2. Just looks like a push after zone 2 to the inner clip, which is the first time I've seen him do that all weekend. Zone 1 nice. Zone 2. I don't know if power cut. I don't know. Yeah, unfortunately that straighten. I give him a 0 for his first run. Up next is car number 62, Tatsuya Kobayashi with Team Trinity Racing in his JZX 100 Mark II. Yeah, his zone 1 and zone 2 were so good. Kobayashi on throttle early. Watching him, there's always tons of smoke. Just flipping it a little too hard from 1 to 2. It's hard for me to hear a lot of the car stuff. I mean the engines from up here in the booth. But yeah, it did look like he lost power after the second zone to inner clip. Or maybe even approaching zone 2. Unfortunately, that's a 0 for Kobayashi. Just transitioned a bit too hard into zone 2. Sometimes that's all it takes. Up next is car number 104, Toshihiko Mizuno with Team Zero in his RPS 13 180SX. out nice. Laying on the power. A little shallow through zone 1. Could be a bit deeper through zone 2. Inner clip's fine. And tons of angle through zone 3. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see this either. This is a, it says 180SX, but I believe it's actually a 200SX. I think it's Russell's car from last year. Yeah, everyone's got new cars, it seems. Yeah, he drove an S15 last year and he's the 180 this year. And a 67 for Mizuno. Up next we have car number 210. Kazuyuki Tomite with Team NG, or Team NR, G-Meister, Libest, Cynthium HPI, Fat 5 in his JZX100 Chaser. Nice and deep through zone 1. Snappy transition to zone 2. Good inner clip, and then swinging out through zone 3. Overall, very nice clean run. Oh yeah, definitely. I like the layout on the 200 SX a little bit more than the S15. Nice and deep through zone 1. Good snappy flip into zone 2. And brings it out to zone 3. Oh, Tomite was the final driver for run 1. We're going to be starting on run 2 shortly. Yeah, that zone 1 to zone 2, that's where it gets tricky, right? And that'll be a 79 for Tomite. And here's the current ranking with the cutoff being at 16. And you can see the field's actually wide open. With all the second runs left, it's definitely going to be a bit more mixed up than it currently is.
雨の日の運転って心配ですよね。いざという時によりちゃんと止まれるタイヤといえば横浜タイヤでしょ。
視界が悪くて止まりづらい雨の運転も横浜タイヤならもっと安心。
タイヤは雨で選ぼう。
横浜タイヤ。
追い求めれば求めるほど遠ざかる時もある。でも理想に追いつけるのは自分だけだ。池江璃花子は横浜ゴムと世界に挑戦する。限界はない。 行くぞ横浜。
MID ホイール Are you ready everybody? MID ホイールダンディムーディ MID ホイールトレンディフレンディ MID ホイールホイールは MID
Ultimate lubricant. Mortis.
What's up, guys? It's Frederick Ospo, and I use RSR suspension on all my drift cars. I love RSR. Iyo RSR Ichiban.
Made in Japan. Breed.
B コロこの車大切に乗ってもらってるね。
B コロはあなたの愛車を丁寧に査定します。
青春の旧車マニアックな絶版車サーキット仕様のレースカー
動かない車だって
OK こだわりポイント発見しっかり評価するよどんな車も買い取ります
B コロ。
And we're back. So unable to make his first run, but coming back for a second run is Fanpei with Team JZ Racing with Revolution in his BMW E92. Getting ready to get the show started off nice. Nice through zone 1. A little shallow through 2. Good inner clip and nice riding the line in zone 3. Overall, a very good clean run, especially for it being his first one. Yeah, just coming out, throwing down a ton of throttle. Yeah, nice and deep through zone 1. If he would have held the transition a little longer, could have got a bit deeper into zone 2 and would have cleaned up the last part of his run a little bit better. It is a beautiful car. I love the ones with very, very plain livery, solid colors. Maybe it's just me because I like cleaning it. It makes it a lot easier. And a 77. Putting him into 8th place. Unfortunately, Luis Teixeira will be unable to make it. And this is car number 789, Hideki Nono, with Carsland Kumamoto in his S15 Silvia. On the throttle, nice and early. Transition a little too soon. Oh, that'll be close to whether he makes that improvement on his first run or not. Quick flick on the gas. He starts off nice and deep, but leaves zone 1 a little early, which messes up his transition angle, which puts him just barely clipping zone 2. Yeah, it'll be tough for him to be able to beat his first run of a 68. And there'll be a 59. With his 68, he's currently in the top 16. Up next is car number 200, Takashi Futagawa with RNT Factory in his GZ20 Soar. And unfortunately, Valentina and Ozeki will also be out. Unfortunately, that's 3 tires out for Futagawa. And his 59 won't put him in the top 16. And another driver that's going to be out is car number 60, Keito Butsuzaka in his S13 Silvia, the one with the boss kit. I'm pulling up to the line now. We have car number 418, Takamiya Yuki with Magician with Crystal, Japan in his JZX 100 or JZX 110 Mark II. Good kick out. On the gas. Just a little bit deep. And the zone 1 little shallow, zone 2. Nice inner clip. And making his way through zone 3. Good kick out there. Judges are trying to decide if that's 3 tires off in zone 1 or not. Yeah, mowing the grass. Unfortunately, that's a 0 for Yuki. But he's sitting on a 69. Up next, we have car number 840, Yukitoshi Tamura with Magician 840 Racing and Crystal Japan in his 180 SX. The pink on blue. Nice and deep through zone 1. A little hard through zone 2. Able to recover. And able to hit the outer clip. Or no, the outer clip, the zone 3. Yeah, with the transition into 2 being so tough or so heavy, he missed the inner clip, which is a pretty big deduction. Everyone's on 1 really nice. That is an excellent recovery to be able to get to zone 3. Yeah, a really great save. Yeah, I do like the headlight squint though. Scores are being tallied up right now. And Tamura's currently sitting on 58 and a 72. Puts him in the 12th place. Up next, we have car number 707, Yusei Ijima with Shakeoff in his JZX90 Mark II. Currently sitting on the 71. Just needed to clean it up a little bit more, and he'll be sitting on a 90. A little shallow through 1. Good transition into 2. Driving through the inner clip, nice. And nice and deep through zone 3. Yeah, throwing on tons of throttle right here. Could have got a little deeper through zone 1. Tons of angle through zone 2. Inner clip, also lots of angle. And just driving on out to zone 3. And Ijima is currently sitting on a 71, so let's see if this is an improvement. And a 75. Up next is car number 831, Eita Uehara with Team Props and his S15 Sylvia. And he's sitting on a 90. And we're good to go. On throttle early. Swinging it out. Nice through zone 1. Zone 2. Lots of angle through inner clip, and then just ran on out to zone 3. I mean, if you thought the 90 was a fluke the first time, there's proof. Yeah, I don't know if that's just tire smoke in there. Okay, yeah, it was just tons and tons of tire smoke. Yeah, I had us worried for a second because he was sitting back there in the back with just tons of smoke just billowing out of the car. And then 94 for Eita. Yeah. Eita just slinging that car around the track. Up next, we have car number 86, Kei Maeda, Team Zagras with Racing Service Watanabe, Used Auto Parts, Hachiroku. And he's sitting on an 83. Powering on out to zone 1. Beautiful transition. Nice inner clip. Yeah, unfortunately, it just seems like he lost power. Maybe transmission. Nicely through zone 1. Or the initiation. Beautiful, right on the edge of zone 1. Strong flick into zone 2. And then it just stalls. Yeah, it was. I thought missed a gear as well. But he's over on the side of the track right now. Yeah, it was such a good start. Unfortunately, that's a 0. And they have the service car heading over to him, and he'll be put off at the track shortly. And after the first 12 runs, that's what the current leaderboard looks like. We have 26 more runs left, so I'm sure it'll still shake up quite a bit between now and then. Yeah, you can't park there. Yeah, it looks like they're going to take him up the service entrance. So it'll be a little bit quicker to get the next car on the track. Fortunately, there's no oil spilled. Looks like possibly mechanical failure. Yeah, dude, the service vehicle is awesome. But they just pulled him to the edge of the track. I don't know. Maybe they, oh yeah, they got a different service vehicle to take him to the pits. Oh, Maeda in his Hachiroku around the inner clip looked like he lost power, or possibly at first it looked like he missed a gear, but it might have been a blown transmission, blown gear, maybe blown diff. Not quite sure, but the car lost power. And no, Valentina canceled her second run. I don't know if they're having engine troubles. It sounded a little weird whenever they were coming around zone 3 in her first run. And they had to take a 5-minute timeout before the first run to get the car on the track. It doesn't look like the track needs to be cleaned. We're just waiting for the service vehicles to get staged. Sam will run tomorrow. Pulling up to the line now, we have car number 151, Shoei Takayama with 999 Racing, Yutan Auto with Junkas Panda, and JZS 151 Crown, sitting on a 79. Oh, humidity level? I'll say 40%. Overall, very good, very smooth run. Nice on throttle. Nice and deep through zone 1. Great transition. Just riding the edge of angle going through the inner clip and right on out to zone 3. Could have been a little bit deeper through zone 2, but overall, a very good run. Yeah, max angle through all zones. Crazy. And an 85 for Tokuyama. Up next, car number 270, Manato Mogi with 27 works. Car S15, Sylvia, sitting on 87. Tons of angle, great switchback. Such a beautiful run. Unfortunately, the stall on start got him a 0. But on the plus side, he's sitting on 87. So more than likely he'll be in the show. Yeah, that stall will get you. That stall is not so good. Up to the line now, we have car number 1, Riki Nakamura, in style with Valino in his S15 Silvia, sitting on 85. Laying down quite a bit of throttle, coming into zone 1. A little too wide. Super deep through each of the zones, but tons of angle. Yeah, you can see it's a little windy, not too bad, but it should be enough to clear the smoke out for a good clean view from the judges. And that's a 71 for Riki. Yeah, up next is car number 106. Tomosuke Sano with White Star with Garidori Kai, by now Japan, and his JZX100 Chaser. Laying into the throttle right now. Swinging out to zone 1. Right on the edge. A little deep through zone 2. But he recovered very well. Because I thought for sure he was going to spin out once he hit the, once he was off course with that tire drop. Beautiful zone 1, just too deep through zone 2. But he was able to recover, a very good recovery. And that'd be a 66 for Sano. Up next is car number 55, Yuma Okada with Kaitaku Racing in his S15 Sylvia. He's currently sitting on a 70. On throttle, tons of smoke. Missing zone 1, nicer zone 2. Tons of angle through zone 3. Yeah, he just adds a little too much angle right before zone 1, and it pulls him up a little short. And it's really difficult to get back into the zone. The judges are saying possibly a straighten, so they're looking at that a little bit more. Yeah, unfortunately it's a 0 for Okada due to a straight. Up next we have car number 215, Takeru Takata with Garage Takata with Auto Shop Wise in his S15 Sylvia. I love that nice, clean green look with the white wheels. I don't know, I'm a fan of white wheels. What about you guys? On throttle right before the 3-2-1. Swinging out. A little short through zone 1. Nice through zone 2. And unfortunately a straighten after the inner clip. Yeah, it's tricky, especially with the inner clip like that. Up next, we have car number 777, Rahman Rosell with Buy Now Japan with RPM in his JZX 100. I'm gonna bring it around, doing it on the gas. A little shallow through 1. Transitions a little too soon. And I'm just glad he was able to recover, because he was flying after that inner clip. Oh yeah, bringing it around. Yeah, transition. I don't know that at one point did he have all 4 tires on the ground. Unfortunately, that's a 0 for Rahman. Ooh, he's scaring us out here today. Oh, we're going to get some drone footage of it. And he ran over the pylon and shot it across to the other side of the track. The track team is currently out there to just try and set the pylon back up. And here's our current ranking so far with with 19 drivers left. Yeah, I do really like the truck. And I hate it when I'm driving and I have to sneeze. Close my eyes and just wish for the best. Yeah, the track workers are out now. It looks like they're doing a bit of sweeping and they're gonna reline the course. So I'll be back in just 1 minute. And we're back. Car number 95, Shuichi Shinoichi with Magician with Crystal Japan in his 180SX. Good smooth transition. Onto power. Deep through zone 1. Good transition to 2. Inner clip really nice. And swinging out wide into zone 3. And he's currently sitting on the 73. So will this be an improvement? I'd say quite probably. Nice and deep through the zone. Dude, a very beautiful transition. About as deep into that inner clip as you can get. And tons of angle through zone 3. Yeah, great run, great run. And that's an 80 for Shinoichi. Yeah, there's 3 Magician cars today. So a couple of the major differences between J2 and J1 are mainly power and chassis. Up next, we have car number 92, Kenji Suzuki with Team NR, G-Meister the best in his JZX100 Chaser, sitting on the 70. On power into zone 1. Nice and deep. Zone 2, even deeper. Unfortunately, it just pushed and missed the inner clip. But yeah, one of the main differences between J1 and J2 is just the power. A lot of J2 cars this year are using NOS just for that extra little boost in mid-range. And to essentially round out the horsepower curve or power band. Fortunately, that's a 0 for Suzuki. There's no power limit in FDJ2 or FDJ1. Put up the line now, we have car number 103, Happy Kobayashi with Shizuoka with FFR, Be Cool Trade in his Hachiroku. Nice transition. On throttle. Swinging out nice into zone 1. Just a little too hard into zone 2. Teaching the pylons a lesson today. Yes, J2 is a tire spec. Yokohama Advan Neova AD09s. And J1, you can use whichever tire you choose. Unfortunately, that's a 0 for Happy. Just a little too aggressive today. I feel like the truck could have parked a bit closer to the pylon. And you can see the mark from Rahman. Yeah, K-Trucks, super convenient. Just hop in and go. And the thing is, the bedside, or the bed size for a lot of the K-Trucks are like the size of some full-size trucks in the States. Pulling up next is car number 193, Kiminobu Deguchi, Garidori Kai, BNJ, with D's Enterprise and his Pink Monster S15. And he's off. On throttle early. Nice smoke. Nice and deep through zone 1. Zone 2. Carrying it out. Hit the inner clip. And just swinging out to zone 3. Oh, thanks, Bentosaurus Rex. Beautiful zone 1 entry. Zone 2, good transition. Nice and smooth through the inner clip. Not quite as deep as you would like to see through zone 3, but overall, very, very good run, especially from his 50 from before. Yeah, this should be a marked improvement on the 50. And an 80 for Deguchi. That brings him up into 7th place. Up next is car number 727, Tomoharu Nishizaki with Tanematsu Thunderbird with Kiyama Shrine in his S13 Sylvia. Oh, so all of the cars in J2 are using MID wheels. A little deep through zone 1, good transition, nice through zone 2. And swinging out to zone 3. Again, you can definitely hear the power struggle with the car right now. So he's taking it as easy as possible through the initial run-up to put on as much power as he can right for the transition. Yeah, it looks like he was struggling a little bit with power, trying to get to the outer points of the zones. Yeah. Normally, when you have a shrine that sponsors you, it's like a family member that will sponsor you on the behalf of the shrine. It's actually really cool. And a 58 for Nishizaki. Up next is car number 830, Stuart Inoue with Stu 830 Racing in his S15 Sylvia. Made a couple mistakes last run. Let's see if he can tune those out this time. Nice and deep through zone 1. Great through zone 2. Push a little wide through inner clip in zone 3. Beautiful car. Tons of power. Stewart's very aggressive driving. Nice good sweep into zone 1. A little deep. A little bit more angle at the end of zone 2 will set him up better for the inner clip. It's going to be tough though. Missing the whole inner clip, especially with the only top 16 qualifying. Unfortunately, that's a 60 for Stewart. and that has him in 23rd place. Yeah, it looks so sick. Up next, we have car number 373, Minami with MSG with his R32 Skyline. He's currently sitting on a 62. Easing into the throttle. A little deep through zone 1. Good transition to 2. Good inner clip and swinging out to zone 3. Could have put a little bit more angle into the zone 3 towards the end. Yeah, not much smoke. Up until zone 1. Zone 2 looking really nice. Inner clip. And then swinging out to zone 3. Yeah, right at the end, if you put a little bit more angle, I think that could have been a little bit more of a boost. Yeah, the strobes do look really cool. Unfortunately, that's a 68 for Minami, so that puts him right outside the top 16. Up next, we have car number 48, Tomoyuki Kitashiba with OS Genkin in his GR86, currently sitting on a 64. So the last time, he didn't initiate until right at 3-2-1. Same, a very similar style this time. Nice and deep through zone 1. Nice through zone 2. Good inner clip. Nice angle through 3. It's probably a pretty good improvement on his current 64 that he's sitting on. Yeah, it's crazy how just 3 zones and inner clip, how technical it can be. Yeah, beautiful cut through the inner clip. Judges put in the scores, just waiting for the system to spit it out. And a 79 for Kitashiba. That moves him up into 8th place. Up next, we have car number 99, Kazuya Nagahiro with Nagahiro Racing in his S14 Sylvia, currently sitting on a 0. He went a little too aggressive into zone 2. A little deep through zone 1. Yeah, going a little deep through zone 1. Messed up his transition angle between 1 and 2, which makes him shallow into zone 2. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, and missing the inner clip, that did not help either. Yeah, it's tricky because I like the cars with livery, but I also like the ones without it as well. Unfortunately, that's a 0 for a straighten right out, or right before and right after the inner clip. Today, not that I've seen, but qualifying's not over either. Car number 34, Yuki Inoka with Auto Garage Junction in his S15. Laying on the power, coming into zone 1. A little shallow through 1. Good angle. Trunk popping up. And nice through zone 3. I didn't know that we could deploy air brakes. Coming out nice. Swinging out. Really good through zone 1. Zone 2. Nice and deep. Good inner clip and making his way out to zone 3. Unfortunately, a 0 for active aero. Up next, we have car number 82, Shuhei Itoyama with Makeup Garage B2 and his 180SX. Starting out a little slow. On gas now. Dropping 1 tire at zone 1. Nice through zone 2. Good inner clip. Nice and deep with angle into zone 3. I don't like the chatter in that back tire. Nice through zone 1, a little bit deep. Overall, much better than his first run. Judges are currently keying in the scores right now. Yeah, tons of chatter on the rear wheel. And 69 for Itoyama, so just out of the show. Up next is car number 28, Yohei Yamaguchi with Dorioka with Kani no Masuone in his A90 Supra. This thing sounds evil. Comes. Yeah, unfortunately, it sounds like engine trouble. I don't know that anyone in J2 runs any nitro. And that's our current scoreboard with 7 drivers left. Up next is car number 620, Hinato Veicolo Liberty Walk Racing in his JZX100 Chaser. So one little tip that I heard is Hinato and Jace, very similar livery. Jace is running white rear wheels. Nice and deep through zone 1, good transition. And making his way out to zone 3, very nice. But yeah, Hinato and Jace, very, very similar livery. Pretty much the same car except for Jace is rocking the Chaser. Hinato's got the Mark II. And white wheels on the back for Jace. Nice and deep through J1, or through zone 1. Zone 2, drop maybe one tire, good inner clip, and riding the wall, or the line on zone 3. Oh, thanks, Paradox. I didn't realize that. And 76 points for Hinato. Up next, car number 63, Fuga Kimura with Team Trinity Racing and his E92 BMW. Currently sitting on a 65. Great zone 1. A little deep to zone 2. The inner clip is turning this into a little bit more of a problem than it needs to be. Just laying down a ton of power. Good depth in zone 1. Zone 2, drop maybe one tire. Yeah, just needed a little bit more angle coming out of zone 2. Unfortunately, that's a 0 for the zone 2 to inner clip. Up next, we have car number 109, Yusuke Aoki, Garidori Kai, Buy Now Japan, in his JZS 151 Crown. Currently sitting on a 79. Laying down power early. Swinging around. Nice through zone 1. Great transition. Beautiful in zone 2. Inner clip and deep into zone 3 with just one tire drop. Overall, a very beautiful run. Going on tons of power early. Bringing it to heavy angle. Yeah, again, just beautiful, beautiful. Clean run. Get boats out here sailing. And 84 bringing Aoki into 5th place. Up next is car number 23, Jace Viocolo in his JZX 100. Oh, mixing up with black wheels on the back this time. A little deep through 1, lots of angle through 2. And just driving out to zone 3. Tons of smoke. Jace on throttle early. Dropping a tire there. One tire there. not quite getting as deep into inner clip as you're hoping, but overall, a very good, clean run. But will that be enough to get him in the show? Currently sitting on a 0. In a 79, currently put him in 10th place with 3 drivers left. Up next is car number 62, Tatsuya Kobayashi, Team Trinity Racing, in his JZX100 Mark II. Currently sitting on a 0, went a little too hard into zone 2. On throttle nice, a little shallow through 1, a little shallow through 2. A little shallow through inner clip, and finished up good in zone 3. Overall, clean run. Could have been deeper through each of the zones, maybe had a little bit more angle. Judges are keying in the scores right now, but would that be enough to get him into the show? At 71 points, unfortunately, that gets him right outside the top 16. Up next is car number 104, Toshiko Mizuno with Team Zero in his 180SX. Currently sitting on a 67, needs a 72 or higher to get in. On throttle, 2 tires off. Coming back zone 2, beautiful. Zone 3 really nice. And then working out, hitting zone 3. That was an excellent recovery, especially for being so far off of zone 1. Tons of power, tons of smoke. But I tell you what, it was a super recovery. But he needs a 72 to get in the show. Yeah, 75. Puts him in as 15. And at the line now is car number 210, Kazuyuki Tomete, Team NR G-Meister Libest, Cynthium HPI, Fat 5 JZX100 Chaser, currently 79. On throttle early, swinging out, a little deep, a little waver, good transition to zone 2. Swinging out nice to zone 3. Picking up tons of speed between initiation and zone 1. dropping 2 tires there. Good line there. Off a little deep in the transition between zone 2 and the inner clip. But currently sitting on a 79, which means he's in. Let's see if this is an improvement or we just stick with the 79. '71. So we'll be sticking with the 79, and that keeps him in 9th place. And that is it for the qualifying for today. And here's our current rankings for the top 16. We have Eita Uehara with 94 in first. In second, we have Manato Mogi with 87. Tokuyama, 85 in third. Nakamura Riki in fourth with 85. Aoki, 84, fifth. And 83 for Maeda. 80 for Shinoichi. 80 for Deguchi. 79 for Tomita. 79 for Kitsuba. Jace with a 79. Fanpei with a 77. Hinato at 76. Ijima with a 75. Mizuno a 75. And Sano with a 74. And that's going to be it for me for today. So I will see you guys tomorrow for the J1 qualifying and the J2 top 16 to finals.
雨の日の運転って心配ですよね。いざという時によりちゃんと止まれるタイヤといえば横浜タイヤでしょ。
視界が悪くて止まりづらい雨の運転も横浜タイヤならもっと安心。
タイヤは雨で選ぼう。
横浜タイヤ。
追い求めれば求めるほど遠ざかる時もある。でも理想に追いつけるのは自分だけだ。池江璃花子は横浜ゴムと世界に挑戦する。限界はない。行くぞ横浜。
Are you ready everybody? MIT ダンディムーディ MIT
ホイール
トレンディフレンディ MIT
ホイールは MIT
Ultimate lubricant. Mortis.
What's up, guys? It's Frederick Ospo, and I use RSR suspension on all my drift cars. I love RSR. Iyo RSR Ichiban.
Made in Japan. Breed.
B コロこの車大切に乗ってもらってるね。
B コロはあなたの愛車を思い出ごと査定します。
ドライブデート家族ができて海や山へ
その車の話
聞かせてね。思い出ポイント発見。しっかり評価するよ。その思い出も買い取ります。
B コロ